Hello everyone, I'm Angela and welcome to my Symposium. I'm a PhD and a university lecturer, and this is your online resource for the academic study of magic and magic practicing religions and traditions. Today I will provide some due clarifications on concepts tackled in my previous video on magic and queer or differently abled communities. I must thank my patron Dean for helping me realize the need for this video, as well as Andrew and Jenny for taking part in that lively discussion in our inner symposium. So let's first address the context. In the referenced video, I'm referring to the pagan and neo-pagan communities in Italy, not to all forms of paganism worldwide, and not to all of those who practice magic across different traditions. Two core traits of academic and scientific knowledge are the need to be very specific and contextualized within a narrow frame of time and place, so to convey accurate information. Interestingly, in Italy, and from what I read in the literature and hear from colleagues, this seems to be the case in numerous countries, there is a different perception and relation with the queer community, the differently abled people and other minorities, depending on the magic practicing tradition we are referring to. To keep it concise, we have pagans, eclectic Wiccans, and folk witches on one side, and reconstructivist movements such as those practicing the Roman or Hellenic traditions, as well as ceremonial forms of magic, including the Gardnerian Wicca, on the other side. In reference to the trend, rather than what every single individual thinks, in paganism, eclectic Wicca, and folk witchcraft, we clearly see an inclusivist, non-heteronormative approach. This may be due to the popularization of these traditions among feminist and gay liberation movements, which occurred on a significant scale in the United States from the 1960s onwards and impacted on the reception of these traditions in Europe. However, most occult traditions falling under the umbrella of Western esotericism, ceremonial magic, and movements reconstructing pre-Christian traditions do not seem to show this connotation, neither in their demographics nor in their philosophy. In some cases, the dualism male and female is even emphasized in certain magical practices. I'm not saying that the latter group is necessarily against the inclusion of these minorities, but simply that the political stance of opposing a perceived patriarchal society has not quite entered their discourse in such an endemic way as it has in the first group of traditions. A second issue to clarify is that I did not mean to equate magic and paganism. As some of you rightfully pointed out, magic is a craft, while paganism is a religious movement. Not all pagans will practice magic, although most include it in their belief system. Magic or witchcraft, on the other hand, can be practiced by anyone, regardless of their religious affiliation or lack thereof. That being said, in literature is often reported that shamanism, vernacular magic, and spirit possession often see a spontaneous, untrained engagement within the minorities of a given society, as well as in times of crisis. People and times at the fringes, at the borders of whatever is deemed normative for a given time or place. I can venture to say that this may be explained in two ways. One more metaphysical and the other one more empirical. Using the metaphysical perspective, we can say with Ernesto de Martino that magic solves the crisis of presence, reaffirming the agency of someone who perceives a weakened dichotomy between their subjectivity and the surrounding world. Here, magic acts to strengthen that perception of self in the world by highlighting one's agency, and hence that there is in fact a subject, the person, acting upon an object, the world. Another common metaphysical explanation is found across different shamanisms, and notably in the Mapuche one, where dwelling at the fringes of society or gender will get you closer to entering the fringes of reality or altered states of consciousness. This doesn't mean that those who don't belong to these minorities cannot practice magic just as effectively, but simply that the mentioned minority groups may be a few steps ahead in that direction. And here we get to the empirical practical explanation as to why this may occur. If you live in a society that limits your agency in the community, you may be more predisposed to seek and find other ways to contribute and find your place in that community. Perhaps becoming the town healer or its shaman. Being in a condition of limited agency within a given society may therefore prompt the person to find new alternative ways to navigate and exert power on their community. Since the ordinary means may be precluded, the extraordinary means become an option, sometimes the only option, to contribute and make a difference. Just as someone without sight might develop alternative synesthetic ways of perceiving the world, or those without hands may learn how to make use of their feet in unusual manners, so do marginalized individuals with an impaired agency on their society may turn to magic practices to develop their selves in the world. I really hope that this clarifies things and brings the conversation forward. Since this was a more conversational and chatty video, you will find all the references in the info box. They will be more or less the same that I used for my previous video on the topic, but here we go. You will find them in the info box. I really look forward to reading your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Before wrapping up the video, allow me to introduce to my inner symposium my new patrons. Thank you so much for entering the inner symposium and becoming my patrons. You really make this work possible. So thank you so very much for those who just pledged and those who stay pledged. So this is it for today's video. If you liked it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell so that you will never miss when I upload a new video. And as always, stay tuned for all the academic fun. Bye for now.